Hey everybody, Antonio Bianchi here from Spa City Soft Wash, and today I'm going to be taking you through all of the most common questions that I get asked about soft washing. People have a lot of questions. We're going to their home, they put a lot of money and time into making sure that their home is well maintained and clean and in good shape. And before we just have anyone on their property, they have to make sure and they have to vet us and see what kind of service providers we are. Starting with number one, what is soft washing? Most people know what pressure washing is. They pull their wheeled machine out of their garage and they get hammering on some concrete, maybe some grime or green on their house. Pressure washing has been around forever. Soft washing has become the industry standard for washing houses and many other things around the home. Soft washing involves a mix of chemicals and soaps that are less harsh on a house than typical pressure washing. Typical pressure washing involves very high pressure on siding, blasting everything off. The risks with that include water going underneath your siding, etching, and it's also just a dangerous practice. The water coming out, especially from those red tips that you see on your own pressure washer, that can do some real damage to yourself and also your property. It's true they don't make things like they used to. Siding now, if you use high pressure on it, you're going to have to clean every inch of that siding. And that's because there's a layer on all vinyl siding, aluminum siding, of oxidation. And oxidation is a chemical reaction between the sun and the aging vinyl or aluminum. And when you wipe your finger across it, you're going to see powder on your fingers, and that's your oxidation on your siding. When you take heavy pressure or high pressure to that siding, you're going to etch it, and you're not going to get a uniform look across your siding. That's why sometimes you'll see big windy lines all across someone's siding who attempted to pressure wash it on their own using their home pressure washer. They'll never be able to get that uniform look because it will take days and days and a lot of time in a ladder to go over every single inch of your siding. And while you're doing that, you're pushing gallons of water behind your siding that's running down underneath your siding and leading to mold and moisture and mustiness in your house. That's all stuff that soft washing avoids. Soft washing uses a mix of chemicals shot from the ground onto the house, which kills all organic growth, and then it's rinsed off, pulling all the organic growth and dirt and pollen and grime down with it onto the ground without using ladders or high pressure or anything else that could damage your siding. What kinds of chemicals do we use? Get this one all the time. Everyone's very conscious of what kind of chemicals are being used in their property, as they should be. So our typical house wash mix is a mix of bleach, water, and surfactants, which are basically a dish soap. So your typical household bleach that you get in a jug, your Clorox bleach, is around 5% strength. Our machines in our system will dilute that down to between 1 and 2% by the time it hits the house. So the stuff that you have in your house is significantly stronger, 3 to 4 times stronger than what we are putting on your house. We want to be as low as possible while being as effective as possible. They include a bleach neutralizer to deter any of the negative effects of the bleach in our house wash mix. They also include cover scents. We use lemon most of the time. Sometimes in the fall we switch to apple. Most of the summer we use lemon, and that's so you smell a little bit less of the bleach, chlorine, pool smell when you walk out to your clean house. You smell a little bit more of a lemon and a pleasant smell to go along with your pleasantly clean house. So when we mix that together on our rig, it goes through our systems, it goes through our pressure washer, and it comes out diluted in the house wash mix of about 1 to 2% strength to put onto the house. Does the soft washing clean mold, mildew, algae, lichen, moss? That's a question we get all the time because people are walking around their house seeing the green, seeing the stuff on it, and the answer is absolutely. We can never guarantee what you're looking at will come off. However, the soft washing is specifically targeting organic growth. So when you see the green shaded siding, that's the algae on your home. That's one of the best. That gets taken off very simply with the soft washing, typically with very little staining on the siding. Mold, same goes for mold. Mildew, all of that. Lichen is a little more difficult. If you see lichen on your house, it's like a small moss, dots of moss all over your home. That is killed with our soft washing, and you'll see that it will turn yellow and white, and we're going to try to get as much as that off as we can while washing the house. But when we leave, we guarantee that it's going to be dead. That doesn't mean it's all going to be gone. We'd rather leave you with some dead lichen on the house than etching in your siding from using too much pressure or too much water, or God forbid water behind anything and getting into your home. We put out a lot of water. Our machines move about 8 gallons per minute, and if that means if we're sitting spraying a ton of water on your house, you're getting about 8 gallons a minute being sprayed in your house to remove that lichen. We'd rather stray on the side of caution instead of that green or black lichen all over the place. When we get there, most of it's going to be gone, and what remains will be dead. And that means that it will flake off and continue to die over time, especially in the sunnier spots. Once it's killed and it gets a little bit of sun, gets exposed to the elements, it's going to continue to flake off and die over the course of weeks or months. Does soft washing clean my gutters? The answer to that is depends on where in the gutters it is and what it is. Faces of the gutters will absolutely be cleaned. Any mold, moss, organic growth on the faces of those gutters will get cleaned during a soft washing. This does not include the inside of the gutters. If it's filled with leaves and other debris and that's gunking it up, that's a separate service that we do. That being said, you once in a while will find that gutters get stained from asphalt shingles. And that's a chemical reaction from the asphalt and the water dripping down the faces of the gutters. If you have gutters that you take good care of that aren't very clogged and aren't very clean, they don't get much water dripping down the front of them, that's how you avoid having those. So keep your gutters clean and you're gonna have a lot less staining. Does soft washing clean my windows? So when we wash a house, we absolutely rinse windows a lot to make sure none of our soaps or anything are left on there. Depending on how hard your water is, will determine how many watermarks you have left on your windows. If you have very soft water, that's probably going to dry off and not leave too many water stains. However, if you have hard water, that means there's a lot of stuff in that water, and it's going to be on your windows after we wash it. It's going to dry and leave some watermarks. That should be easily cleaned off with the typical window cleaning. But a soft wash of the exterior of the home does not include like a squeegee window cleaning. That's a separate service that we don't offer right now. We do know some people in the area who are very good at it and can do it for you. Even though we aren't washing the glass of the window, a lot of our customers volunteer to take out their screens before we get there, and that helps. When we rinse out the windows and we apply our soft wash, it will clean up that vinyl window frame, that white window frame that has all gunk in it and stains along the bottom. We'll do our best to clean that around that when we're washing the house, just like we're washing the vinyl of your home. Is soft washing safe for aluminum or wooden siding? Aluminum siding, it's absolutely safe. However, if we see your aluminum siding is in rough shape, you're losing paint all over the place, it's very oxidized, we're going to let you know ahead of time and say, hey, we'll be able to get a lot of this organic growth off here, but you're going to be left with a house that needs to be painted after. You have a house that needs to be painted right now, but it's covered in dirt and growth. You will probably notice that you need to get it painted even more after we leave, and we're going to give you the option to avoid that. Is it safe for wooden siding? We clean a lot of cedar siding that is stained or painted with a paint and a different color, and that is completely safe as long as your paint is in good shape. We can clean that and avoid any kind of damage to that paint. However, if you have a cedar or a log home that is stained with a natural stain to bring out the character of the wood underneath, that we stay away from. Although soft washing with a good stain on there may be safe for if it hasn't been compromised or taken off enough from the sun, we don't want to risk it. We aren't experts in log homes or natural wood staining, so we stay away from that. Are the chemicals you use safe for pets and plants around my house? Yes, they are, with the proper precaution taken. Our soft wash mix is about 1 to 2% bleach, which is significantly weaker than the typical household bleach, which is around 5%. However, bleach is bleach. It still poses its risk to sensitive plants, and because of that, we take the proper precaution with your plants beforehand. All the plants around your home, gardens, they get watered before we rinse the house, and they get watered after we rinse the house. And the reason for this is plants are, especially on hot sunny days, plants are thirsty. They're trying to drink any water that they get provided with. When we spray fresh water on them, they get quenched. The first thing that they drink is not the bleach house wash solution. We've never burnt up a plant. I'm not saying it won't ever happen because we're dealing with chemicals here, but it's never happened because we take those proper precautions. They're also rinsed after we rinse the house, and that is to avoid any kind of overspray of bleach on the plant that it didn't absorb and drink, but sits on the leaf. And bleach, once it dries, will leave salt, and it's really nothing more than table salt that's left once bleach dries. But that salt on the leaves will continue to absorb all the moisture that the plant gets provided over days, and that's what kills the plant. That's why we rinse everything before and after to avoid these situations. Same thing goes for pets and kids walking outside. All the places that we are using chemical, we are rinsing after to make sure that your pet walking out and walking back in won't cause damage to your carpets or your floors, dragging that bleach inside. Again, it's a weak enough mix that anything that touches the skin or touches their paws won't be threatening to them. We want to avoid any kind of damage to the interior of your home if there's an off chance that could bleach anything in there. Is it safe for lights and electrical outlets on the outside of my home or anything else you have out there? Cameras, Ring doorbells. Any electrical in the outside of your home should be watertight prior to our arrival because they're outside exposed to the elements on a daily basis. They should be able to hold up to water. However, we do take extra precaution to make sure that you're not having a bad afternoon changing out an outlet or calling an electrician. And because of that, we tape up all electrical outlets, all light fixtures. We also put hair nets over electrical outlets to make sure they're watertight on the outside. We also put things over the cameras of the home to make sure that no water gets behind them. We take every precaution we can to avoid you having a longer day than you have to because we washed your house. We can't guarantee that the electrician who installed the appliances at your home did it correctly and did it so water can't get into where it shouldn't be. However, we're going to take every precaution we can to avoid that situation. Is soft washing safe for my patio furniture, umbrellas, cushions? It should be. We use a pretty low amount of bleach that shouldn't hurt anything. However, if you have anything sensitive, we do recommend that you pull it away from the house, maybe take in your cushions before we get there. We know that a lot of people take really good care of their patio furniture and their cushions. A lot of them take it in or cover them before it rains. Definitely recommend doing something like that before we get there so we don't get any water or bleach or anything else on your patio furniture, on your cushions. Make sure we keep them in good shape for you. Will the clean last longer than traditional pressure washing? Probably yes. We can't guarantee anything in every condition. How dirty a house is completely dependent on that house, how much shade it gets, how close vegetation is to the house, if you have sprinklers that are hitting it, if you live in a wetter area, if you live near a road that over winter and exposed to a lot of stuff being blown up from the road. How dirty your house is and how quick it gets dirty, again, is completely dependent on the house. We see some houses that we go back to every single year and they're pretty dirty already. Others we don't go back to for a very long time and they stay pretty clean for a long time. However, compared to traditional pressure washing, if you're dealing with a lot of organic growth, killing the organic growth will absolutely keep your house clean longer than just blasting it off with pressure. If you're blasting it off, you probably leave a lot of it still alive underneath there that you can't really see, but the roots of it and the spores of it are still there. When we kill everything on there, that leaves a much better chance of it not coming back for a little bit longer of a time. What else do you clean besides houses? So, we clean vinyl fencing, some wooden fencing as well. We clean decks, that includes Trex decking, composite decking, normal wood decking. We also clean sidewalks, patios, porches. We do not currently clean roofs. We're hoping to add that service soon. We clean playgrounds, playground equipment, anything that's getting grimy and green and gross. Give us a call. We'll see if we can help out with it. How often should I have my house soft washed? The biggest thing is you get that house washed before you notice a lot of growth on it. Once there is lichen on that house, once there is growth and moss on that siding, it's very difficult to get that off. We can kill almost all of it, but getting it all off is a different story because we want to avoid water behind the siding and damaging the siding. So if you want your house to look as good as possible for as long as possible, you make sure you schedule regular maintenance. It's the same as your car. If you didn't wash your car for a year, your paint's going to be a lot different than it would be if you kept on top of it. Same thing goes for the house. If you don't clean your house as often as you should, you're going to get some growth on it, and some of that growth is going to leave staining in the vinyl that is deeper than what a house wash can clean. So get it cleaned as soon as you can. How can I prepare my home for soft washing? The most important thing is most things are pulled away from the house, so we don't have any overspray and anything. The same goes for cars. Please pull your cars away from the house in the street if you can, but it's not a big deal if you can't, just away from the house a little bit. If you get any overspray in your car, it's not going to hurt it. You will notice a dried chemical solution on it. It'll come off if you go through the car wash or wash your car. It won't damage it at all. Same goes for all your patio furniture and everything else. If we're there to clean a deck or a patio, please remove everything you can from that deck or patio so we don't have to move all of that and be there much longer. How soon can you get to my house? We get this question a lot around Memorial Day and the 4th of July. And even Thanksgiving. Last year it was very warm before Thanksgiving, and I think a lot of husbands put off that house washing until it was too late. And we got a lot of calls right around Thanksgiving last year because a lot of the family was coming over. Typically, we're booked out about 2 weeks during the busiest time of the year. Try to make sure we fit in everyone as soon as we possibly can, because typically people put off cleaning their house until the last minute. You have that graduation party coming up, you have people coming over, you want that clean house, and you don't want to wait a month for it. That's why we try to keep our appointment window down to 2 weeks. However, we try to keep some openings throughout the week. We don't always have it, especially early in the spring when everyone wants their house washed. We can't guarantee we can get to you quick. However, we do try to keep some later appointments, maybe 5-6 o'clock. We can get to you in the next couple days. Do I need to be home during the service? Absolutely not. When you schedule with us, you will receive an appointment confirmation, and you can save that to your calendar. And before we get there, you will receive an appointment reminder. And if you aren't there, we don't speak with you. We'll take before pictures, and we'll send you the before and after pictures so you can see how the progress of your home and how it came out before you even get there. When it comes to payment when we're not there, we'll follow up with an invoice, which you can pay directly through. You can pay with a card, directly through the invoice online, or you can send a check in the mail to our business address. If none of these work for you, just give me a call and we'll figure it out. How far do you guys clean houses? We get that a lot because we're based out of Ballston Spa. We market a lot that we service all of Saratoga County. We also service communities surrounding Saratoga County. We do a lot of cleaning in Glens Falls for people who have multiple investment properties up there. We go up for a weekend and we stay up there for the whole weekend getting all of them done. The same thing going down towards Albany, Schenectady. We go out towards Schaghticoke and out towards Amsterdam, Gloversville area. We focus mostly around Saratoga County, but we do service all the surrounding communities as well. What are some things that soft washing won't clean? The most common one we come across is artillery fungus. Artillery fungus is typically black dots on siding that's typically found around mulch beds. It's a fungus that comes from mulch. If people never had mulch near their house and only use rocks in their landscaping, they typically don't have any of this artillery fungus. Artillery fungus, you'll notice you'll walk up to it and scratch it off, and there's still a little bit of a dot underneath. That will not come off with a soft wash. With a traditional pressure wash, it will get the dot of the artillery fungus off, but it won't remove the stain even. Soft washing also does not remove iron stains on houses, so the big orange marks that you most of the time see when a sprinkler is often hitting one side of a house and leaves an iron stain from the water. Soft washing won't remove those stains. Soft washing also does not remove grease stains. If you have a grill near the house and grease splatters onto it, it'll get some of the dirt that sticks to that grease off, but it's not going to take off the actual grease from the siding. We also notice that it doesn't take off soot most of the time, and that includes some soot from gas fireplaces, which isn't really soot, but it's the exhaust of the fireplace that's coming out from the chimney bump of the house, and there's the metal piece, and there's typically black around that and on the trim of the house. It'll lighten that up a little bit because of the organic growth that sticks to it, but it's not going to remove the actual staining in the siding from that vent. I'm on a well. Can you still wash my house? It depends on how your well is. If you have a very sensitive well, we're going to avoid washing the house unless it's a very small house. You know your well better than us. We want to be as cautious as possible. We're going to ask, do you typically wash your cars? Any chance you have a pool that you fill? Do you all take showers and do laundry? And have you ever had any water issues when you're doing all that, when you have company over? If you're pretty confident in your well, then that makes sense to us and there shouldn't be a problem. We wash with wells all the time. But if you have a bad well, you typically know it. And we want to know that information before we go into it, because if we don't know and we notice the water starts coming out, very slowly or it starts coming out discolored, we're going to shut it off and we're going to stop the service right there because we don't want to do any further damage to your well. We want to avoid that situation because if that happens, we're going to have to stop, let your well recover and come back a different day. That adds time for us, and we really don't want to have to charge you more for the separate stops back to your house. So definitely let us know ahead of time so we can figure out what would be best for you. We do not transfer water at this time. We typically come with between 50 and 100 gallons, maybe a little bit more if we know the well is a little bit iffy, but we do not come with enough water to wash the entire house without anything more from you. So definitely let us know if you have a well that you question if it would be enough to wash your house. Do you use my water? Yes, we do hook up to your water on site. Our machine is a commercial pressure washer that uses more water than a home can typically provide. It uses around 8 gallons per minute, and that's why we have a trailer with a water tank on it, and the water from your home will run to that tank and it will continually fill it while our machine runs off of the tank. So we have a constantly consistent water supply. We typically show up with between 50 and 100 gallons of water, and we continually add to that while we are washing, and we typically leave between 50 and 100 gallons of water. About how long does the house wash take? So our typical house wash takes between an hour and 2 hours. Obviously that changes depending on how large the house is or how much growth is on the house. Something that really increases the time that we're there is your water pressure. If your house has very poor water pressure, that means that we're going to be waiting on water longer than we're going to be cleaning your house, so that adds some time. Do you use ladders to clean the house? We do not, and that's one of the benefits of the soft washing. We can shoot up to 3 stories, sometimes a little bit higher, and we can shoot that from the ground. We apply the solution to the house, we let it dwell and kill everything on there, and we rinse it off. It's a much safer way, no high pressure and no ladders around your home, no one climbing all over it, no one leaning ladders in your house and risking damaging something or taking a gutter off your roof. Once in a while we will use a ladder to tape up a light fixture that's a little too high, or maybe we'll put one up to get an extra few feet to hit a tough spot of a house. We're never leaning that thing up against your house. We're never climbing it to get all over the place. The ladder stays on the truck for 90% of jobs.